Oh man, it's the grab bag.
Fun fact, I like to try to record multiple videos on the same day off because I don't have as much time on the days that I have to work. So that's why I'm still in this same setting as the previous video where I talked about Ultraman Rising. Today I'm going to talk about how I read the entirety of the My Hero Academia manga in a week. Help me. I read the whole thing, and I gotta say, when your final battle begins at chapter 300 and it ends around chapter 420, I think it's a little bit excessive. And I will be reviewing the anime as I go along, but there were certain things that I really, really liked about the manga, and certain things that were definitely flaws. Um, for one thing, like I said, the final battle starting when it did, even though in reality the real final conflict doesn't happen till much later, the big bad gets released and goes on a rampage. Or I should say, the seemingly big bad. Um, I don't want to really spoil too much for certain things, but I have to say there was one big thing I really liked about it. Namely, the fact that Midoriya is pure good, and the fact that All for One is pure evil. And a lot of times, a lot of series try to make shades of gray for their heroes and villains. And you know what? Sometimes that's good. I mean, the thing I'll point out is a lot of the other characters in the series fell under that category. But Midoriya was pure good, and his pure good pushed the other heroes to be even better. On the flip side, All for One was using dark machinations, namely trickery, literally in the case of Shigarake, setting up everything that happened with him, which again, I don't want to spoil that because that comes way later. But it's it was really good. Like I enjoyed it. It was very nice and refreshing to have a villain that you do not redeem at all. There was no redeeming qualities. All for One was the main bad guy in the series. Even though Shigarake may have been the face, it's kind of like the Emperor and Darth Vader kind of situation, where Darth Vader is quite evil, but not 100% evil. And there's no redeeming the Emperor. And that's sort of how this went with All for One and Shigarake. Now, as far as everything else, I really enjoyed the fact that, yes, there were flaws. Midoriya is a little bit of a coward at times, but he would push through his fear, and that's something very, redeemable. And the fact that, like I said, he made the other heroes better by his decisions. And that actually really pushes the story where, yeah, you can have these different shades of gray with the other students and everything, but your main character doesn't bend. That is where I think that it really shined. And I mean, I've read a lot of different manga and books and everything, and it's pretty rare to have your hero not have like some sort of shady past, or your villains having some redeemable quality of why they're the way they are. And it's like it was very refreshing, in my opinion, to have the story be the way it was. But I don't want to spoil anything because I know that the anime hasn't caught up to the manga, and the manga, I honestly don't know how it's going to keep going because the way it ended after that fight, they would have to Deus Ex Machina kind of situation, and I think that in reality he should wrap up the series at this point, and that's what I'm hoping he does. Or she, I'm pretty sure it's a male writer. I don't know the name of the author, but I will say that if it ends here, I will be very satisfied with the way it ended. He's currently on a hiatus. He took a long break after finishing the fight and everything, and I'm hoping that he's just coming up with how to end the series completely, not continue it on further. Because if he does, then because All for One the one thing I'll say that might be a little spoilery is All for One set up all the bad guys in the situation. Well, not all, but most of the bad guys. So now there is no overarching bad group of villains at the end of this. And I don't know what he can do unless he comes up with new bad guys, but at that point there's no build up, especially because All for One and One for All were so directly linked to each other. And that's what I have to say about it. It's a lot of fun, and I will catch you later.